So we have the title of the game here, then we have the variables here, we have the timer and the counter, and then we have the nail and the hammer, and then yeah, we just have the backdrop, the ground, that is, and then this message. So yeah, you can just check it out and see how it's working. So that is now what you're going to do today, from like drawing the nails and the hammer from scratch. So let me create a new one. So first, what you're going to do is you delete the sprite that's there. So now when you what you're going to have is the nail, like I've said before, the nail and the hammer. So we're going to have three nails, and then a hammer, and then yeah, so those are the ones that you're going to paint. So the hammer will be, there's one like that's straight, and then there's another one that is at an angle. So you come here to a sprite, and instead of choosing a sprite, you decide to paint your own. So we are going to paint a sprite. So let's call this hammer. Excuse me. So to draw a hammer, so you can either, like I'd shown you before in the last session, you can either import a sprite, or you paint your own. So, but just painting this hammer is not hard. So you can just come here, then you draw this there, then you draw the other part. Yeah, so we have our we have our hammer there. So what you need to do is also edit the size. So first of all, you change the color of the outline. So our outline is black, and so you can choose the color you want to put to have for your hammer. So let's say our handle will be black. So there. So yeah, we've put the black handle, and then now we have another part. Just a minute. There. So I'm just zooming in so that you can be able to see that the two are combined. And then now our top, let's put it blue. So the outline, so you should be very keen to make sure the outline, the color of the outline is what is going to be touching the nail. So you decide on whatever color you want there, but you make sure it's a color you can easily pick, because you're going to use it in the code section. So let's pick no, let's just go for blue there. And then we go to fill inside and then we pick that color. So this is the easiest way you can pick. You can to ensure that the colors are matching. So you just use this picker. So when you go to fill, instead of dragging the lines here, the color picker, you pick this pen, this drop, and then you come and highlight the color you want to pick, and then it matches. Okay, and so one of our hammers, so the ideal size of this hammer is supposed to be about, it's supposed to be sizable so that it doesn't occupy the whole screen. So we are going to have around 150 by 180. Yeah, so you take this. So our hammer, first of all, let's duplicate that. So we duplicated it. So this one is supposed to be slanted so that it will be the one hitting it will look like it's hitting the nail. So that is okay. So that is our first costume. So this one is supposed to be around 150. Yeah, let's put it there. So okay, yeah, this is the one you're working with. Yes, that's sizable. So 150 and 180. So you see, okay, no, that is not supposed to be increasing. Yeah, that size is okay. And then the length, yeah, that size is fine. Then now we go to the second one. This is supposed to be fully at 90 degrees like that, because it will now be the one hitting the nail. So that one again, so we're going to have the size at around, yeah, that 115 by 90. Yeah, that will be a good size so that it doesn't again fill the whole screen. So that, and yes, so that is okay. So we have this and then we have this. So it will be, now these are the two costumes that you'll be having. Then we go ahead. I hope so you've been able to follow through so far. Yeah, so the easiest way to create the hammer, as you've seen from the steps, you draw the two rectangles, you paint them, and then you duplicate so that you can edit the costumes. Yeah, so now we're going to paint the nail. So painting the nail, again, you start, so here we're going to start with a circle because you don't have an oval. So that is now, yes, what you're going to make of it. And then you take a rectangle. So the other one, you take a rectangle and you add it there. So yes, there. So the good thing is you can be able to see here on the screen. You can be able to see it reflecting here. So you can see the size. So you can't have the nail bigger than the hammer. So just going to edit that so that the sizes are matching. So now what you're going to do is tweak this. Just a minute. There. So you pick this one, it will tweak this. So when you drag this, it drags that point and then this point. So that's how you make your nail sharp. You drag with this, it's a reshape. So you reshape the rectangle into a triangle. So that's what you're going to have. And then, yeah, there we go. We have our nail. So here we're going to reduce the size a bit. There. Okay. Yes. So this. So we're going to have the nail costumes are supposed to be. So the nails are supposed to be two. One has a black head and the other one has a red head. So that you can be able to see the difference every time you hit it. So you're going to duplicate that. So this, first of all, the size is a bit too big. It should be something very small. So let's reduce that. Yeah, let's select with this. So still big. So you can compare the size to the hammer here. So it should be smaller than the hammer. So you keep reducing that till you get the size that you want. Careful not to reduce the whole thing. Yeah, so that looks okay. Yeah, so we're going to zoom this. Just a minute to reshape that. There. Yes. Now our nail looks like a nail. So you're going to duplicate this. So you right click on the costume that you have at the moment, and then you click duplicate. So now the first one is going to have a black head. So here we are going to change the color. So there's no outline here. So we're just going to pick our fill, and red is what you're going to use. And then so the rest of the body is still red. So it's one color throughout. So let's use a picker so that we have the same red. So there we go. Then the second one is going to have a different color. So this is going to be red again. So let's duplicate the first one so that we can easily paint that color. So this one is going to be red. Then the other costume is supposed to be black. So we change this color to black. So there we go. So we have the two nails, the red one and the black one. So yeah, the size looks okay compared to the hammer that we have. So now that is the two costumes that we have. So this second costume, you can, for the sprite, you come and name it. So this is our nail. So here we have costume 1 and costume 2 for the hammer. So can call it hammer 1 and hammer 2. Then you go to the nail again. So nail will be nail 1 and nail 2. Yes, so here is all about creating your own costumes. So the next one you're going to do is the instructions block. So those instructions, so you'll come here and then decide, you paint again, you paint your own. So there, and this is the instructions block. So for the instructions block, you just you click the text and then you start typing inside. So since I had copied that, okay, these are the instructions. I just copied them from the other game. So it's easy for me to just proceed without having to type everything. Then you can easily place them on the screen. So you can check here and see where they are. So every time I move them to the right or to the left, I can be able to see where they are positioned on the screen. So just reducing the size a bit. Okay, that is still big. So yes, I think that is okay now. For the instructions, yeah, that is fine. So at least they can be readable. And then to change, so when you're changing the color, let me zoom here. So you click all of them, and then this is the field. So the color, so you want them to be red, you want them to be green. So this is where you're going to pick the color. So let's go with that green. So you're going to use that color. At least you can be able to read through even on top of the hammer and the nail. Yeah. So that is now our instruction. So we are going to name it game instructions. And then we have our title, which is Carpenter nailing. So we create another one. You paint your own sprite again. So this sprite now is going to be the title, which is Carpenter nailing. So you go to text again, and then you start typing. Yeah. So you can change the color of this to be something that is easy to see because of the many colors we have on the screen. So yeah, let's put that blue, something darker like that. So now if I increase that font, you can see where it is. So on the screen, I want to place it at the top because it is a title. So it's supposed to be at the top there. So there we go. So that is now where we're going to place our title of the game. So you just easily tweak around this so that you can be able to position it well. So you check here, then you'll be able to see. So if that's a bit small for you, you can just take some time, you maximize, you see how it looks, then you go back to editing. So yeah, it looks okay. That the position is fine. So the other thing that we need from this then, so that is our sprite. So our sprite number 4, which is our title. So you come here and you name it title. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I think you can take a minute to just catch up on this. So as I repeat this, so our start, we have the hammer. So the hammer, we have come here and made 2 costumes of the hammer. So one is inclined at an angle because, you know, the way the hammer hits, I don't know if you can be able to see my video. So like this, so we have the nail, and so this is the nail, this is the hammer. So the way it hits like this. So we have this angle and then this when it is hitting it, and when you're holding it, you hold it at an angle, you know. So those two, so that it will be changing costume and it looks real that you're actually hitting the nail. That is why we have the two. You can also put the one for, you can also put a third one for the 90 when it's just straight. So from here to here to here, but to reduce all that motion, the best is the angle and then the one at 90 degrees. Yes. So I hope that was easy to understand. Then so we've made the hammer. So we have the hammer, which is blue in color and with a black handle, but it can also be purely blue. So just that we put just that color. So you can put any color, but what matters is you have, you know, this color because you're going to have in our code logic, it's going to be, so the nail, when you're hitting the nail, it's making a sound. So that sound it is making, let's just go back to that, to the game we had. Just a minute. So this is what we have. So when you're hitting the nail, it's going to be making a sound. So, and then the nail is also going to be moving downwards. So the reason the nail is changing is because there's this color of the, so let me just stop the game. So it's because there's the color of the hammer that is touching the head of the nail. And that is why the nail is moving and also making that pop sound. So that is why we need to have a color that can easily be able to place in the code, because we'll have our logic having that. So now back to this other, back to our hammer, where we were making the hammer. So we've made the hammer. So our hammer is there, and then we have these two, so costume 1 and costume 2. Then you go to the nail. So the nail, like I showed you, you first make the circle and then you add a rectangle, then you reshape it so that you have the sharp part of the nail. So we have those two. And then now we come to the game instructions. So I had copied it. I copied the game instructions from the previous one instead of having to type the whole thing. But ideally, you just come here, text, you put text, and then you start writing number 1 like that. So yeah, you start writing press. So that's just all. Like here, it is just text. All what you're only working with here is text only. So after you've typed that, you position your sprite, which is now the game instruction. So you position it on the stage here so that you can be able, someone coming to see the game can be able to read it. And then the other thing we have is the title. So just a minute. Oh yeah. So we have the title, which is Carpenter nailing. So this is the title of the game. So when I come to the game, I'll be able to see that. And then let's just position this first before. Yeah, let's put it here. And then this one too. There. Then we have our nail. So let's put it somewhere. We can, that it won't be blocking the instructions. So you highlight and then yes, there. So when the game is starting, at least we'll be able to see where the nail is, where the hammer is, and we can also be able to read the instructions well. So there we go. Then you have the game instructions well placed, and then we have the title of the game, which is Carpenter nailing. So after that, now we are going to make the backdrop. So our backdrop here is going to be now that the floor where the nail is going to be nailed, and then it has a costume, that the second costume, which is saying game is over or job done. So you come here to backdrop, and then you decide to paint your backdrop. So what you're going to do is, so backdrop one, we have backdrop one and backdrop two. So backdrop one is going to be a rectangle. So you just draw that rectangle like that, and you can see it. So you can easily see where it is on the screen. So we'll just change the color later. Let's raise it. Yeah, that is fine, so that it doesn't again disappear totally, or we don't hit the nail like 2 times and it has already disappeared on the ground. So you can be able to see that it has filled the whole place. So let's put a different color for our ground, which is brown is okay. This looks like some, yes, that is okay for the ground. So that is our color now. What you're going to do is, again, you duplicate this. So we have backdrop. Let's delete this empty one. So we have the first one, which is just empty. Then the second one is where we are going to write game done or job done, just to show that the game has ended. So you write here. Let me change the color first. Let's use black. Yes. Okay. So there. You can just increase the font. Let's see. Yay, there. So this is after you've nailed down the 3 nails, you'll be able to get this message popping on your screen. So there. So that is it. So that's now the sprite and the backdrop part of our game that now we've already done and created. So now we're going to the code section now, where we're going to have the code. So what you're going to start with is the hammer. So with the hammer, what you're going to do is, so the mouse is what is going to control the movement of the hammer. So when the mouse is down, it switches the costume of the hammer. So, and then that is now what you're going to work with. So the mouse switches the costume of the hammer. And then now the other thing is, we are going to work with variables. The variables, the ones on the screen. So we have nail number for the variables, and then we have a timer. Yes. So we come to the mouse. Sorry. So let's start with the simple one, game instructions. So we don't want to be playing the game every time, and every time we are playing the game, the instructions are just there frozen on the screen. So what you want to do is, when you start the game, the instructions disappear. So what you're going to do there is you can do it in so many ways. So ghosting, there's ghost effect, there's also just show or hide. So that is what you're going to use. So let me just see, is there anyone with a question? Oh, okay. Sorry, I had not checked here. Saying he's not, okay, Opemba was saying he's not seeing the demonstration. Okay, all right, he's seeing it now. Yeah. So if you have a question, just raise your hand, or you can just type on the comment section. So now we are going to put that. So so who can tell us how we are going to make the instructions disappear? Anyone?
Using the ghost effect.
Okay. All right. So ghost effect. So I hope you guys understand how the ghost effect works. So let's do that. So let's use the ghost effect. So yeah, this is our game instruction. So we are writing code for the game instruction. So when the flag is clicked, so you go to the events, that is where you're going to find when the flag is clicked. So you go to looks. So we have change ghost effect by, so let's say 40. Let's change by 40. So let's see if that is going to work. So 40. Okay. So it has worked, but it hasn't changed gradually, just changed halfway and then stopped there. So what else do you need to add so that you can have the ghost effect totally make it disappear? So we can try this. So change ghost effect by 100. This is going to make it disappear completely, immediately. So you read the instructions, and then when you click the flag, it disappears. So that is, now if you change that, if you decide to change by 40, let's say by 50, it will just be 50% transparent there, but it still be there. So now it's up to you to decide whether you want it to be totally gone or, so let's put it at 100, so it just totally disappears. So when you click the green flag, the ghost effect, so it disappears. There we go. So that's now we are done with that. The title is not going to change. So then what else? So after that, we are going to the variables and then add two variables. That is the nail number and the timer. So this PDF is actually available, so you can be able to just follow through it. That is if there's anything that is not clear. Okay. So we go to variables and then we make a variable. So nail number. And the other one is the timer. Yeah. So we've made two variables. That is the nail number and the timer. And they are on the screen there. So the nail number is going to show us how many nails have been hit, and then the timer is showing us the time we are taking to hit those nails. So there we go. And you can see now that we have that, we need to reduce the size of the title so that it doesn't fill the whole screen. So what you're going to do here is reduce this. Yeah, that is better. And then move it. Sorry. Yes, that is okay. So now we start with the hammer. We start writing code for the hammer, that is. So what happens now is when the flag is clicked, you're going to use the mouse to change to move around the hammer. So the code is in the PDF just as it is actually. So the challenge here mostly was to make these costumes and know where to place what. So now we are going to. So when in the event when the flag is clicked, so you wait until mouse down. So there you go to control. Wait until, and then so you wait until. Here, mouse down. So it is under sensing. So you wait until mouse down. So when the green flag is clicked, wait until mouse down, and then the other thing now is going to be, so if the mouse is down and you switch the costume of the hammer, if it is not so you switch from costume 1 to costume 2. So costume 1 is the one that is up, costume 2 is the one that is down. So again, under events, under control. So we are going to say if the mouse is down, then change costume. So you go to the look, switch costume to hammer 2, else you switch it to hammer 1. So hammer 2 is the one that is down for hitting, hammer 1 is the one that is inclined. So let's, and then you put this in a forever loop so that it keeps doing that. So you pick the forever, put it there. There we go. So now you see, so it looks like it is hitting there. At least that is working. So every time I click, it goes down. So then after that, now we're going to write code for the nail. So for the nail, this is where now the whole activity takes place, because it's supposed to, so first of all to show, and then the size, so the size of the nail is supposed to increase, and then you're switching the costumes, and there's also the position of the nail. So just a minute. Then when you start the game, so the other thing you're supposed to do is the size of the hammer and the position of the hammer. So you've seen the hammer has been able to hit, it's at least moving the way the mouse, when you click with the mouse, but it is still at the position I left it, where I placed it on the screen, and I don't want to keep moving it manually. So when the flag is clicked, we show our hammer, and then the size. So here you can at least change, set the size. So in the hammer, we have, so we have this. Then we also have so for changing the size, so there. So when the flag is clicked, first you show the hammer. Then you set the size and switch the costume of the hammer. So here you're setting the size. So let's see, to 60%, we see how that is. So, okay, there. So at least you can see our instructions have disappeared, and then this is the hammer we have. And then now we are going to change the costume. Excuse me. There. So here now we're going to have the hammer that is slanting, and then the position of the hammer is supposed to be where the nail is. So when you click the flag, you can be able to see where your hammer is at least. And then the other thing is, so when you've clicked the flag, at least it is changing, but our hammer is not moving with our mouse. So we want it to forever go where the hammer is. So first of all, we go to a certain position there. So we want it to come here. Let's see, there. So we want it to come to position. Okay, let's put it at 70%. The hammer is a bit too small for the nail. So there. So that position is -70 and -1. So -70 and the Y position is -1. Yeah. Then, so forever sorry, we go to this. So forever it goes where the mouse pointer is. There, so let's see if that's working. Yeah, it's following our mouse pointer, and yeah, so that is it. So now we go to the nail, and for the nail, so again, when you click the flag, the nail is supposed to, so we start by, adjusting the size of the nail. So that nail is a bit too big. So we are going to adjust that size. Then, so we show first, and then we change the size and switch the costume. So come here when the green flag is clicked. So we go to looks, show. Then set the size to, so let's see. So if you set it to 80%, let's see how the size, yeah, that is a bit, yes, that is okay for the hammer at least. So that's fine, we can work with that. And then now the other thing is the position. So let's move it to somewhere here. So that way it starts just right above the ground. So that position, you can see it is -6 and 48. So that's what you're picking. Yeah, so that makes it easy actually for us to position it. And also the costume is changed. So what you need to do is switch the costume. Here. Okay, so we have that. So anyone with a question so far? We take a bit of a break. Just, okay, 2 minutes. See if there's any other part you need to catch up on, or anyone who has a question so far, or the challenge they faced when they were doing it, they were doing this assignment.